It's interview time. The real AquaBoogie is already in. Wow. Let's check. I hope it's gonna work. Yes, it's
Yo,
working.
what's good, bro?
What's up?
Oh man, how are you, bro?
I'm good. I'm good.
What's going on? What's
Yeah,
going on? I'm here. Bam.
yeah. Germany. Yes, Germany. Yeah, we can go
Man, I'd
out.
love to
It's
join you.
quite good. It's okay. Yeah, it's it's good.
I'm happy to be here,
Wait.
bro. Thank you for having. Give me a second. I'm gonna turn something off. I'll be right.
Okay.
Bam. All right.
Ah,
Yes.
that's
How's
better.
everybody
Yes,
feel
it's true.
today?
So today I was outside with my family, and yeah, it's quiet, but
Is it
it's many
cold?
people still outside in Germany. But next week they want to make it, open some stores and so on, right? So
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Is it cold right now? Is it
no, it's
cold?
actually warm, 25 Celsius. I don't know how much Fahrenheit it is. Yeah,
Uh, yeah. It's chilly over here. It's chilly where I'm at. You
yeah.
know.
So where are you at right now?
Okay, so I'm in the mountains right now, bro, of North Carolina. I'm in the mountains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it's pretty cool. I've always wanted to have a house in the mountains, and last year we finally were able to buy it. So we finally got our house in the mountains.
Wow. Yeah. Mountains, bro, this is the perfect thing. You have your quiet. It's quiet, right?
A lot of nature, a lot of
Hello?
nature.
Yeah, perfect. That's
Bears,
perfect.
we got bears. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The funny thing is, all the bears are coming out because they think we're dead. They're starting to walk
No.
around the city.
No.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
suddenly you have in your garden a bear?
You just might have a bear in your garden. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A
Oh
bear in
wow.
your car. You can have a
So
bear.
the thing is you wait, right? You wait. You wait
I'll
till
go
he's gone
call
or
animal services.
okay. There's people they come and they check everything.
Yeah,
Wow, okay.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. We don't kill the bears. We don't kill
Yeah,
bears. We don't
yeah, it's
kill.
perfect. Yeah, it's I think the time changed. I think all over the world, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure, for
So
sure.
so let's start. Let's start with the interview. So Aqua Boogie, when did you start, and who was your teacher?
Wow. Okay. So I was one of those childs that grew up with Soul Train. So I
Okay,
watched Soul Train as a kid. So I was already waving and trying to lock in the 80s as a kid. I was trying to imitate
okay,
it. So
okay,
early 80s, I was already practicing, learning how to wave. Already knew the term popping. And I was trying, but I was still a little kid. So it wasn't
okay,
until the 90s that I really got into it.
okay.
In the 90s.
In the 90s. Okay.
The
But
90s, yeah.
who taught you the wave? It was like from watching from
So
the telly and your family,
it
or
was it was literally from practicing in the beginning from the telly, just watching
yeah,
videos, music videos on TV.
yeah,
On Soul Train, we would wait for reruns to come around that would play old episodes of Soul Train, and we used to live for those moments to be able to just see it,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
then the funny thing in my room, I used to have a little mirror in my room, and I would
Nice.
see it and like look in the mirror and just try to copy, and just try to absorb it. And that's how we learned until we finally got the VHS tapes of Wiggles in the
Yeah,
90s.
yeah,
and we started finally, that era began for us. That's a lot of us how we learn by either seeing someone doing it on the
Yeah,
street
yeah.
or Soul Train or
Which
watch.
city? Which city was this?
This is Miami. So I was born and raised in
Okay.
Miami. And Miami was amazing because it was absorbing what New York was doing and what California was doing.
Yeah.
So it's like everything came together for us. Where we had the breakers and the poppers and the lockers. We had all that. Like we grew
Wow.
up. Like we have lockers from that started locking in the '70s. Big
Yeah.
shot to Kid Dynamo. He was a locker mentor of mine that passed away a couple years
Okay.
ago. Big shout out to Kid Dynamo. There was locking crews and popping crews in the early '80s in Miami. Miami was
Wow.
a melting pot of street dance, and
So so
everybody was doing everything.
so can you okay, now I skip a little bit time because I remember end of the 90s when we listened to East Coast hip hop and West Coast hip hop.
Yeah,
Suddenly, Master P from Florida, or I don't know, from the South,
the
he
South.
came from the South. So, so is it the same, right? Because in the South, like there in the South, like Florida, like Miami, the
Right.
influences meet, right?
There's a lot of influences that meet, but let me rephrase something.
Yes.
South Florida is like its own country. When you think of the South, right?
Uh-huh.
There's the South, which is Louisiana, uh,
Yes. New Orleans,
Georgia,
Mississippi, this area, right?
Mississippi. Miami is its own country. It's like it's from Latin America. Like
Yeah.
people speak Spanish. it's,
Yeah.
if you ever go to Miami, you might not understand what anybody's saying because we speak Spanglish, which is English and Spanish put together.
Okay, okay.
So
But what's
it's
the difference? Because when you go to, I heard when you go to San Diego, they
yeah,
speak also a lot of Spanish right there. So is it similar or is it still different?
it's similar, but we're so different in the sense that we have all these Hispanic cultures that come together. So
Hmm.
we have dialects that are really different,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
and you might hear Spanish one way, but then someone speaks Spanish the
yeah.
other way.
This I know because I work
It's
together with a
crazy.
Cuban,
The
with a
Cuban,
Cuban. So I think in California you have the Mexicans, right?
right?
And
Yeah,
in Miami or
yeah.
South Florida, the Cubans, Puerto Ricans,
Every
all these
all
people
the
go this way,
yeah,
right?
all the
Yeah.
above.
Oh,
All the
okay,
above.
interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, then it's
in
different, right?
Miami, you'll find a Mexican Cuban restaurant. It's a
Okay,
restaurant with both Mexican and Cuban, which is the bomb. You have
okay.
one menu's tacos, and the other menus like empanadas. I'm like, woo!
So we can relate this also in dancing
Yeah,
because it was mixed, right? Like you have the East
absolutely,
and the West.
absolutely. Because there was dance being created, right,
Yeah,
in the '70s and '80s, and we're watching it where we're at now. We're a big Hispanic community, so we got salsa, merengue. We
yeah,
have all this flavor, right? Mambo, right? And
yeah.
then we're seeing these dance forms that are coming from other parts of the United States, and we absorb them. Also, people that lived in New York used to travel to Miami. Like if you're Puerto Rican and you
Yeah.
lived in the Bronx, you came to Miami for vacation. Like
Oh, okay.
that's just the way it is. And
Okay.
sometimes they stayed in Miami. So
Yeah. Okay.
they'll go like from Puerto Rico to New York to Miami, right? So
Wow.
they would bring these styles to us. And in the '80s, you go to South Beach, it's just like Venice Beach, right?
Yeah.
And you would see it on the street, right there, all the breakers, you know what I'm saying? Miami Pro Am, major shout out.
Yes. I want,
Miami,
but wait till we go to Pro Am because Pro Am,
yes,
I grew up with Pro Am. So
right,
so just tell me, just finish this, and then we're gonna talk
of
about
course.
Pro Am. Yeah.
So basically, as a kid, you would be growing up in Miami. You go to South Beach, right? And
Yeah.
among clubs and everything, you would see dancers performing and street dancing and breaking. And so at one point, that's all it was until the era of the Pro-Am era started coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Legs, hip hop elements. It was a huge era for us where they started uniting scenes by bringing by the creation of these events.
What is a
So
scene?
a scene is basically a
A scene. Sorry.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A
correct.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah, they started uniting scenes with these events, and
Okay.
that turned into what we had the Pro-Am era. The Pro-Am era changed everything for us. Everything, everything.
Okay. So look, I started watching Pro Am, I think 98 and 99. These two tapes I had in 2000, 2001 or 2,
Right.
like this. So watching the popping, the electric boogie contest, or
Yes.
with
Yes.
Tommy Boy, with Domino.
Yes.
I remember Shrimp was a judge.
Yeah.
So so tell me more about this era right now.
Oh
So
man, it's.
yeah,
I wish I had a time machine, bro,
yeah,
or even just a time machine window where we could just look and and give you guys a window of what that was like. Because here, let me backtrack just a little bit.
yeah,
Um, Street dance had disappeared in the '80s, in the late '80s in Miami. Like the way it was in the culture, like in the limelight, the way it was in the '80s. Like pop, you could see popping in commercials. You could
yeah,
see locking in commercials in the
yeah,
'70s, right? In the '80s, it started changing. Late '80s, everything started changing. Everything
yeah,
started. The haircut started changing. Everybody, it was the house party. Flashy dances, running
yes,
man, what they later called New Jack era, whatnot. And one of the things that hurt me because I was one of the few people in those parties. Like I was in like high school, right? '89.
yeah,
I would start trying to wave, and they would be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" I would try to tut, and they'll be like, "No, man, that's old fashioned. That's
uh,
like we don't do that no more." And I
it's
was like,
interesting. Same over here.
"What do you
Yeah,
mean you don't do that no more?"
yes,
With
same over here.
respect.
Yeah,
Yeah, I used to do it all. But I was like, I wanna. If I had waved, they were like, "Nah, man, that's that old stuff," you know. And it wasn't until the '90s, man, until it started getting respect again. And when these events started happening, it was like, I felt like I had missed the '80s wave of things because I was too young. I was a little kid,
yeah.
right? And I grew up in a very religious household, very
Okay.
religious. My grandfather was a minister, a pastor of a church. So I had a really strict upbringing. So I felt like I had missed that first wave
Yeah,
of hip hop.
yeah,
But now came in the second wave of hip hop, and now it's international.
yeah,
Now we started getting VHS tapes coming back from other people in Europe doing it,
yeah.
right? And then we
Like,
started seeing
like,
them
right.
like Storm, right?
Yeah.
Storm and his
Okay.
crew. We seen them going to New York and battling our dudes, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, yo, hold up. This is become a worldwide thing now. Like we
Yes.
need to come together and Speedy Legs in Miami started this movement with,
Yeah.
hip hop elements, which became Pro-Am. And Pro-Am was like this magnet, and it became a magnet for people from different parts of the world to come to Miami to experience pop, like France,
Yeah.
right? Benji, you know what I'm saying?
Of
DJ Benji,
course. Of
uh,
course.
Sally Sly, Sally came out,
Yeah.
Stiga
Stiga
came out.
pop. Yes.
All these guys are coming to Miami, not
Yeah.
only to experience the beaches and whatnot, but to experience hip hop the way we are doing it, right?
Yeah. I
So
think
that
this is, yeah.
became
Yeah.
like bro, it blew up. It blew up. It became a lifestyle, a passion, and
Yeah.
it was the first platform for poppers to compete again.
Yes.
Because up to then, we were just battling in raves, joining dance competitions for like alcohol
Yeah.
tickets and,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and silly stuff, It was
Yes.
like
Yes.
it was the first time it was like a popping competition.
Yeah.
And it was the first time in Miami that we're like, yo, these guys can pop. And it brought Don Campbell, rest in peace.
Yeah.
It a lot original, a lot. A
So,
lot, a
so
lot.
was it like this that you when they bring it to Pro-Am that there were also workshops, or it was more like because I remember in Europe it was like culture and there was exchange, there was battle,
Yes.
you have some big egos, some small egos,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was really
Well,
like a like a jam, right?
it was more of a jam culture. And what I mean by
Yes.
jam culture is there were parties, including like a park party on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we've been having park parties in hip hop since day one, right?
Yeah.
So it was ciphers, and a lot of times before the battles actually happen in front of the video cameras, right?
Yeah.
They happen in the pre parties.
Yeah.
People already battling in the pre parties. Like
Yes.
people would show up and they'll be like, "Oh, look who just showed up! France just showed up." Immediately on site, dudes were already battling, and we're like, mind you, we're trying to hold back too because we're trying to compete, right? We're trying to compete. We're getting hurt in the pre-parties, man.
Yeah,
We're
yeah, yeah,
coming
yeah,
out
yeah.
all backed up, knees all bruised up, doing ground moves, and we're looking at each other like, man, we went too hard, you know what I mean?
But I think it's normal. I think it's so
Yeah,
normal. This is
yeah,
this is a this is how beautiful are the 90s. For me, I have the same experience over here in Germany, end of the 90s and beginning of 2000. So
yes.
actually, I know you long time, long time. I know you since the Mr. Wiggles forum.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're taking it back.
So
You're
yeah,
taking
yeah,
it
I
back. Yeah,
know you since 2002 when I get my
yeah,
first computer,
yeah,
2001
yeah,
computer,
yeah,
and very slow internet, but
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, I used to write articles for Mr. Wiggles'
yeah,
site, and it was we were trying to expose
yeah,
dance forums in
yes,
those days. We're trying to reintroduce the world to a dance form that a lot of them thought had died. We're like, it's not dead.
exactly.
It's really never been dead.
Yeah,
These art forms never really died. They just didn't. They weren't in the limelight.
yeah,
And what
underground.
we were
They went
trying to do is
underground. Yeah,
we were trying to reintroduce and say, look at these art forms. This is a pure American, amazing thing that is new again. We
yeah,
gotta appreciate it now. The whole world's appreciating it. The whole
yes,
entire world's appreciating. So let's all come together. And
yeah,
that was the big message in those days. As let's all come together. Let's battle, but let's talk afterwards. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Because the people, when they used to come to Miami, we would battle. But afterwards, we would hang out and talk about each other's culture,
yeah,
take them to events, parties, clubs in our
yeah,
neck of the woods. And we were like, hey, man, come check us out. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
we exchange a culture at that point. We're exchanging cultures.
yeah,
And that was the real, true best part of it. It was not just the battling, that was the fun part, yeah. But it
yeah.
was how we came together afterwards.
Yeah, totally. I'm like 100% absolute. Um, so, so after like you had beginning of the 80s, you start, then it was this pause, then in the
Yes,
90s,
it picked up.
it relived again.
Yeah.
So, so when did you start to make like to say I make a living out of this?
It wasn't until the early 2000s
Uh-huh.
that I actually started making money and making a living off of it. It was just a passion where we would travel to battle. And
Yeah.
in those days, getting your name out was really hard. It was basically you had no YouTube, you had no social media to upload your footage. You literally had to get a flyer that some may or may not get to you in another state, right? You have to get a flyer about an event that's happening somewhere else, and you have to make plans to be there wherever that address was. Whether it was a warehouse, whether
Yeah.
it was a community center, whether it was a park. It was like, and that's how the scene was. But there was beauty to that because it was like show and prove. Everything is show and prove. If you
Yeah.
had a name, is because people were like, "Yo, have you heard of that dude? Yo, listen
Yeah.
out for that dude. When you hear that
Yeah.
dude's name,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, have you heard of Aqua? Oh, have you heard of this guy? Have you
Yeah.
heard of that guy? Right? And it was a beautiful era because of that. Just because it was so real, it was surreal. It was so real that it was
Yeah.
basically you would show up and you would see this energy of in different faces. Every scene had his dude or set of dudes. You know,
Yes.
every scene had like a popper. Yes,
It's
sometimes
it's
a very cocky popper at that because they were
sorry,
so
sorry.
cocky back then. They were so because there was nobody to compete against them, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like the one popper out of like 1,000 b-boys, right? And
Yes.
here
This is
I
my,
come,
yeah, this is my time
and
too.
then here I
This is
come,
the
and
time.
they're like, "Oh, you're the popper. I'm the popper." You know, they would see the way I was dressed. They'd
Yeah.
be like, "That's the popper right there."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
a
over
Adidas
here.
suit, everything crispy, white gloves. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
you got white
The
gloves?
hat, how you wear
He ain't
your
gonna get
hat,
on
and
those
so
white
on. Yeah.
gloves." So,
Yeah, interesting. It's so interesting because I really relive now my memories. Um, because over here it was the same, and when you have like 30 b-boy crews, you have maybe five poppers or
if that,
maximum eight, and then
if
you
that,
don't, you
right?
battle halfway, but then
Yeah,
the other way you exchange because it's too
yeah.
small, the community, right? It
Yeah,
was
and
like this.
they'll play like two popping songs in the jam,
Yeah.
like Planet Rock, and we're all fighting over Planet Rock.
Yeah.
We're like, yo, hold up. That's an electro beat. That's us. Let's go. Get out of the way.
Yes.
Even the B-boys be like, oh snap, that's a popping beat. Move out of the way, guys. Move out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let them have
True.
because they knew that we only had one song and then it was gonna be break beats for the rest of the night. That
Yeah.
was that was my life in a nutshell.
Yes.
Breakbeat,
Yes.
I love breakbeat. I'm a locker too, a locker by
Yeah.
heart. But there was something about crunchy beats and popping, and we used to beg the DJs. I'm like, yo, homie, a little popping set. Come on, we've been here all night. Just
Incredible.
bless us a
I
little bit.
feel you. I feel you.
They need a break. The b-boys need a break.
Yeah.
Look at them. They're all tired out. Give us a break. That was our life in the '90s, man. But it
This
was
is so
beautiful.
true.
It was
So,
beautiful.
because I saw you make shows, you make movies. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit of this
Yeah.
time. So what did you do? You make a company, you make solo show. How do you build
So
yourself for doing all
it,
this stuff?
it was wild. I got it with a crew out of New York at the time, right? And it was called Soul Majestic. Shout out to Bam Bam New York City Breakers, and Bam Bam started a crew called Soul Majestic, and it had members that were in Miami, which I was one of the members, and members in New York. So I had gone to a place called the Skate Key in the Bronx in 2001 for an event to perform. Okay, and Skate Key was a legendary place for hip hop. And if you ever get a chance to look that up, look up the history of Skate Key. It was a skating ring, but it was known for having a long history in hip hop. So there was an event there, right?
Hmm.
And I went there, and this producer from New York had seen me popping, and he gave me his business card. And he says, I have a show that's about hip hop and is going to travel the world. And we kept in contact. About a year or two later, I was traveling worldwide in a show that had like a lot of quote unquote what people consider b-boy legends. You know what I'm saying? And we traveled the world to expose
What was
pop
the name of the show?
break.
Break. Okay.
Break. Break the Urban Funk Spectacular out of New York City. And this show went on for about 10 plus years. And we traveled 20 something countries. And it was just a live show of breaking, popping, locking. We had creative pieces. We had DJs. We had DJs with turntables, beatboxers. You know what I mean? And look up Break, just
Yeah.
the break show.
So my question, I have a question because there is a show called, there's two shows. It's two shows. It's Get Original and
Yes.
Manhattan, I think.
Yes, yes.
So
These
this was
are
before
shows.
break, right? It was before
Those
break.
were before us.
Ah,
Those were
okay.
before us. As a
Okay.
matter of fact, the Ghetto Originals and Jam on the Groove, right?
Jam on the groove.
Jam on the Groove
Yes.
was one of the inspirations for this gentleman named Steve Love to create Break. And what he did was basically took that format and flipped it, send it across the world. And I was very lucky enough to jump on that show and travel, just travel and expose popping and locking to audiences around the
Yeah.
world, man. That was my life for
So
almost.
you were the only stand-up dancer, or there were also others?
There was a few others, yeah. There was a few others that you'll recognize their names, like
Sweepy,
uh,
yes.
Sweepy, Doc from New York. He's also a DJ, DJ Doc from New York,
Uh-huh.
and amazing, amazing dancer as well. Locking Q from Japan.
Yeah.
I was the only one that had an animating waving solo.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I was the only popping soloist, stand-up soloist in my time during my era that I was with the show. So I would get about 3-4 minutes on stage to just animate wave
Yeah.
for every audience that I would see, which
So
was
one
amazing.
question is, did you it was choreographed or it was a freestyle solo?
So we did both. We made it where we had our routines, but everyone had a portion where they would do a solo. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes I've said this too in the talk, when your job is to perform,
Yeah.
your solo becomes choreographed after a while
True.
because you
True.
create, you know what your crowd pleasers are, so you fall back on your crowd pleasers.
Yeah.
And I got frustrated with myself because I felt like even though I was performing every day, traveling, touring, right, seeing different parts of the world, right, but I wasn't growing as a dancer. Like I felt like I wasn't really growing as
Yeah.
a popper or as a locker or any of that. It
Yeah.
wasn't until it wasn't a full-time career like that that I felt like I was growing again, because now I did it with the purpose of growth, not the purpose of constantly be on tour
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
doing. I would also do moves that I knew so well I wouldn't get hurt. Because if
Yeah.
you got hurt in the middle of a tour, you know, imagine
Over.
you have a 45 dates in an engagement in a tour, and like in the middle of it you get hurt.
Yeah.
So I've performed with a broken foot. I've performed with broken hand. I've performed with I got salmonella poisoning in New Zealand, where
Wow.
I was out for 2 weeks and sick, just throwing up. I mean, I got sick in Mexico once. It was terrible.
This is show
but
life.
but
I know this. I know
it
this
was
because I toured with Flying Steps, and
amazing.
we did, yeah. So I feel you so much. I feel you so
Yeah.
much. This is the tour life, and in the tour
And
life,
the
you're
funny
also
thing is,
happy. Yeah,
I
you're
like
not growing.
persistence.
You're not practicing anymore.
You're not
Yeah.
practicing, and only when you get to a place where it has other poppers and you guys
Yes.
get together, that's
Yes.
when you felt like you had a little moment of growth, because you had an exchange. You got to see what they were doing, you know, whether it be a battle, because we used to battle people in the lobby. Like we're listed as the off Broadway show, and we're battling dudes in the lobby. Um, that's the way it was,
This
though.
is
Like,
cool. This is
you
dope.
know, it's the only time we might see each other. We're in
Yeah.
another country. Why not battle right now?
Yeah.
And the people are seeing another show. They got to see the show. Now they're seeing another show. And then we all go
Dope.
to a club together and we battle again, you
Yeah.
know?
With party and battle together.
Yes, absolutely. And get
Yeah.
to know each other,
Yeah.
exchange information. You know, that's how the global scene started really blowing up, you know? That's how
So and when after this break, after this show, what was after
what came afterwards.
yeah, what
I
came
um
after?
I did 2 contracts on a cruise ship. on a
Wow.
on a cruise ship as a popper on a cruise ship, and I worked with one contract was with Random. Random, he's a popper from Las Vegas now,
Hmm.
and then I did another contract with a b-boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we basically were entertainers that they would insert into the shows because they
Yeah.
used to have like shows, and they would want a popper and a breaker, two poppers to do routines,
Yeah.
and that's what our job was. And
For
I did
how
that
for how
for a
long
whole
how long
year,
time? How long time?
six
On
months each contract, 6
6 months.
6 months
Wow.
on the water, 6 months.
Wow.
Very small type orders. Um, you're basically living in an island,
I
and
know.
you start fantasizing with driving,
Yeah.
and you don't even care about driving in traffic. You just want to get in a car and drive because you've been on a cruise ship for so long. And that the cruise ship is where I met the woman that became my wife too. So we met on the cruise ship.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's
Cool. So
that's where the story just switches up. And I met
yeah.
my wife in my last contract, and
Yeah, okay.
I was like, okay, I got to slow the traveling down a little bit,
Yeah.
and we started doing more theater, films, and
Yeah.
whatnot, and all that good stuff. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're based in North Carolina right now.
Right now,
So
yes, at the
yeah, but
moment,
before when you do the theater
yeah.
and you was living still in Miami or
New York. I
ah
lived in New York for
okay, you changed to
six
New
years.
York to make a living for dancing, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah,
and it
okay.
was full time. It was full time.
Yeah.
We basically only had a few months off throughout the years, and during that time off, we would travel, connect with the scenes, go back, and jump back on the show.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much my life for almost 10 years.
Okay.
Almost 10 years.
Wow. The
Yeah.
show life. It's a show life.
So
Yeah.
it
Show
was pure
life.
show life, and it was the beginnings again of street dance. And this is like before the shows like on television. It was theater.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
theater. If you wanted like a real live experience, you would come and catch a Rennie Harris show. You know what I'm saying? You would
Yeah.
come catch one of our shows. Jam on the Groove at that point, unfortunately, was no longer. It had stopped.
Yeah.
But that era really set everything off. Jam on the Groove was the first like explosion in hip
Yes.
theater, and it gave the audience a front seat to the culture.
Yeah.
Like you got to think about sometimes the environment of hip hop is not welcoming for everyone. You know,
Yes.
so it gave them a safe location to go and see hip hop where they didn't have to worry about getting mugged, getting robbed.
Yeah,
Get,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
People are like, oh, we don't want to go there,
Yeah.
but they'll go to the theater. They'll go to
So
the theater.
yeah, so now I have another question because it sounds very like it's my life too. It's show life. It's a theater, show life, movie life, and of course culture. The culture is the main,
Of
the
course.
source, our source. The foundation is our culture. So so what do you think about an academic way to learn our dance forms and to have an institution or a university to work with this, to look a little bit in the future? So what is
Oh,
your opinion about this?
oh,
Because
hold on.
I think I can talk to you like this because you do everything, right? You're
Yes,
very split. Like I
I'm
talk
gonna
with
show you
Pete, I
something.
talk with Hugo about this, right?
Before I start, let me show you something. Hold
Okay. Now it will come something.
on. All right. I don't know if you can see the badge where it says.
Yeah, but it's mirror, right? I have to read it. This is.
It's Duke University.
Oh, okay,
Duke
okay.
University. So
Duke.
I was teaching popping and locking at Duke University
Oh, nice.
for the American Dance Festival every summer. And before that, I worked with probably close to 100 colleges in my time, right? And I love the fact that the world is interested in hip hop, but there's something that's going on that I have to tell you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell me.
In America, there's no official hip hop dance degree. There's no official hip hop dance degree. Right,
Um,
as right now, we're all teaching or taught as adjuncts, right?
yes.
And unfortunately, that's not good enough. It's just not good enough, man. Like it's almost like they want the style, but let's all come together and create credentials where we all can have a master's degree, like straight up, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of great, amazing teachers teaching in universities right now, but they're probably teaching under a modern program,
Yes.
a modern degree
Yes.
as an
Yes.
elective. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What that happens, unfortunately, is that sometimes you have to bend the art form to fit and contort to certain curriculums. Now, I've actually been very lucky to maintain my essence, but some of the students didn't know how to take it because they were like, "Whoa!" I was just thinking this was going to be a Zumba class. I
Yeah.
didn't know this was a real street dance in depth. Let's break everything down class.
Yeah.
And so I felt like they would come to these huge universities to learn, but they wouldn't take what we did serious. And I didn't like that because it
When
put
when
me
was this?
a
When was this? What
this
time was
has been
this?
this has been the last like 5-10 years of my life. I
Okay.
stopped teaching for universities this year actually, where
Uh-huh.
I took a break, and I love the places where I teach at because I actually have really good festivals that I work for.
Mm-hmm.
But where I see worldwide, what I'm seeing worldwide
Ah,
is that they haven't given us the credentials that we deserve. Like, I'm sorry, if you've been teaching an art form for 20 something years, you deserve a master's degree on your wall, man. You
yeah.
really do. Like, if you have a bona fide history in this, you
Yeah.
deserve a master's degree. Like, stop trying us with little adjunct positions and listen, people are gonna take the jobs because we're all dancers. We need money.
Yeah.
We have houses. We
Yeah.
got, we gotta pay for insurance and we got children and we got
Yes.
all kinds of stuff, right?
Yes.
But why are we still being treated like an elective, man? Like I'm tired of being an elective, straight up.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Exactly.
So that's my belief in the institutions is when they are ready to finalize a hip hop curriculum that's bona fide and certified through the masters that are
Yeah.
already working within the field
Yeah.
that recognize, hey, look, this guy's a master at this guy's a master at that, this
Yeah.
guy's has this credentials, this guy has that credentials. We
Exactly.
all get a degree so we all can be a tenured professor somewhere. Somewhere
Exactly.
a tenured professor
Same over
with,
here.
with the respect that we deserve, not an adjunct, not an elective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how long do we have to be a culture to stop being an elective and start being the main, curriculum?
And you know what I think, because this topic I have with a lot of friends here in Germany, and man, it's split. The opinion is split because we can also start something by our own and not waiting till the university says, okay, we back, I think now maybe 20 years, like you said.
Yeah.
It's like begging, like, come on, you
Yeah.
see the potential.
Yes.
And suddenly they don't grab us and say, okay, we help you. That's why I
No,
think we have to make our own
I
institution.
agree. I agree. But here's the problem. I'm not sure if you guys have the same problem that
Yeah.
we do in America. But if you sit down certain individuals in your country, in our country, it's hard to sit down certain individuals in the same room. So, and it shouldn't be that way. And I'm not going to say names or whatnot, but it's hard to get a lot of people in different rooms that have a big say in all this because of things that they don't want to let go of many years ago. So in
Oh,
order,
okay. You mean like individual from our culture?
yes, from our culture,
Yes, yes,
you can't get them to sit down in the same room sometimes. There's egos, there's
yes,
bad old stuff that they don't want to let go, and
yeah,
it becomes really hard when people are still holding on to things and you're trying to be objective.
yeah,
I like that by writing articles.
yeah,
I had a hard time writing articles. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people want me to start again, but one of the reasons why I stopped is everybody had a different viewpoint. Like, no one wanted to coincide on their viewpoints. And I'm like, can't y'all figure this out? You guys were in the same neighborhood, you know?
Bro, this topic, I
I'm
follow
like,
this topic, exactly this topic in my interviews while talking with the OGs, right? And like, hey, come on, guys, you can one time you sit, you talk about it, then you
timeline.
figure it out, how
Okay,
how
can we
you're
all
gonna
just sit
call
down and
how you're
figure
gonna
out a
call our culture right now, how you're gonna call you can call it whatever
hey,
you want. All the respect goes to you guys.
I
So
know, I know. I was like, can we all sit down and just put down timelines and agree on this, disagree on that? But whatever the case, every time you speak to certain groups, is almost like they lived an alternate reality from one another. They're like,
yes,
no, reality was like this, and they're like, no, reality was like this.
yeah,
And you weren't there, right? Because you're from a younger generation, so all you have is conflicting views, and that
yeah,
is a whole lot of hard writing right there to write.
yeah,
So I had to be really objective to how I took
yes,
information in those
yes,
days. So I would
yes,
like extract all the personal stuff. It's like I had to hack away through the
yeah,
personal stuff and
yeah,
finally get a little bit of truth and be like, okay, here's the truth. Finally, jeez. All right, I
yes,
got a little bit of truth here. Now I got a little bit of truth here.
yes.
Let's match it with these truths. And that's how I learned my history. So
Same over here, and I
unfortunately,
think overseas is exactly the same way. All the people who really love the culture and the dance, and then
yes,
suddenly it's too much. Let's don't say ego, like individuals perspective. Let's say
yes,
individual perspectives.
yes,
Suddenly you have to cut the individual perspective and get to the technique, right? And it
yes,
becomes like a objective reality, because
yes.
you of course you know the Neil deGrasse Tyson, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of this scientist from the States,
Okay.
and he explains like subjective reality and objective reality, and like subjective is exactly your ego, right? Your
Yeah.
individual reality, but the objective reality is like, okay, I have a glass and everybody sees from a different perspective, and
Yes.
we say yes, this is a
Yes.
glass.
Well, here's the problem. I'm
Yeah,
explaining another problem is everybody wants a simple answer, bro. They want a simple answer so they can write it down and say, hey, here's my answer. They're like, who invented popping? They want one name. You know what I mean? Who
yeah,
invented locking? They want one name. We do know that the locking was created by Don Campbell. Okay, done.
done.
Okay, popping was created, what we know as popping was created by a community of dancers. They don't want to hear that. They're like, what
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
mean
yeah.
a
The
community?
umbrella. We talk about
You're
the
like, what do
umbrella
you mean a
popping.
community?
Yeah,
I'm like, the what we understand as popping was created by a community of dancers, and each era was responsible for innovations that we do today. They're like, oh man, that's too much for me to process. I just
yeah.
wanted one name and one group, you know.
And this is
So
not. This is not happening. This is not happening,
it's not.
because the truth is not one name.
No.
It's like you're looking back and you say only Alexander the Big.
Yes.
He did everything. No,
Every,
he had a
no,
team.
no,
He had a
no.
huge team. He had his teachers and so on.
He
So
had
it's like
innovations. He had innovations that his technologies were based on. And just
exactly.
like we have innovations. That's
Yeah,
why it's really hard. Some people, they use that word create. They throw that word create a lot. Like, I created this, I
yeah.
created that. When I really believe that some of these movements are really, really old, older than we think, older than we think.
Yes, for sure.
And I believe that we
AquaBoogie for
began
sure.
I believe that we began an interpretation of these movements in our era, and that's what we
Exactly.
have as hip hop. That's our interpretation of these movements.
Yeah,
Were people waving in ancient dance history? Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Were people doing tutting angles? Yes, they were. Like, you
yeah,
can look it
yeah,
up. It's out there. Like, you can see ancient Polynesians doing waves,
yeah, yeah,
ancient
yeah,
Polynesian dance doing waves,
yeah,
right? So we weren't the first to experiment with this movement,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So we're the modern interpretation of this movement. So it should, in reality, give people more respect for what they do. You're part of a lineage that not only began in the 70s and 80s. That's our interpretation. That's when we began. Some of these
exactly,
movements are old, man.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
know, like these movements have an ancient lineage that we can have a good time discovering, rediscovering them. You
So
know?
do you think instead of looking out of the creator, we can collect them, you know, or they have to collect, talk about it, see the objective reality, and then we can move forward to
Yeah,
becoming bigger than we are
yeah,
right now, right?
yes. We need us all. Like, we would have to sit down, like, in my perfect,
Yeah,
world, in my
that,
perfect,
yes,
I would love to see people from the first generation of street dance. Let's start with popping. People like the original Strutters from the Bay, all the original guys, the
yeah,
guys that came after, all the guys in the Southern Cali, right?
yeah,
All the guys from Fresno that went to Southern Cali,
yeah,
have everybody sit in a big council,
yeah.
and we hash out timelines and names. Even if some people say, well, we call that the slot or we call that the Fresno. Cool. We
Thank
got
you,
both of those names.
thank you,
Damn.
thank you.
Like, oh,
Exactly.
we had that move. It doesn't, well, we're not, right now, we're not creating a timeline of moves. What we need is a timeline of when people were first discovering a movement. Now, here's the beauty of it. A lot
Yeah,
of people don't believe in this, but I want to put a notion here. We could create the same move and be in other parts of the world.
yeah,
There can be a synchronicity.
yeah,
I've done stuff that later on I thought I created that
yeah.
only came from my imagination, and come to realize that that person had no way of seeing me, and they created a very similar, or if not the exact move. So
Bro,
there's synchronicities too.
of
Like, do you know
course.
that if you start messing around with the movement, very often you may create a lot of the same similar moves. Like, we want to believe that our mind are totally disconnected, but our
Same.
minds are not disconnected. We're all energy. We're all connected in many ways.
Yeah.
We have synchronicities. Like, I might create a combination, and some dude over there creates a very almost exact same combination.
Yes.
So
Yes.
why we're so quick to be like, no, we created everything. I'm like, no, we need to step back and say,
Yeah.
look, we are all creatures that have been inspired by other things. Okay, and
Same.
let's just
Same.
say that
Yeah.
if we're all seeing the same cartoons,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're seeing the same cartoon, I'm seeing the same cartoon.
Yeah.
You're seeing the same show, I'm seeing the same show.
Aqua
You start
Boogie. So
imitating, you start imitating that
yeah.
cartoon, I start
Yeah.
imitating that cartoon. Boom, we
Exactly.
both discovered
Exactly.
tutting. Oh, we
Exactly.
both discovered tutting because of the Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Exactly. Exactly. Look, because and I'm born in '83, so before '89 there was a wall in Germany.
Yes,
So my parents came from Greece, right?
right.
So they lived here, and then I got born, and because it was the Allies and a lot of US influence was in
Yes,
Germany. So that's why the inspiration were the same like in the States.
right,
Maybe not all the spectrum, but a little bit more than the half, let's say, right?
right, right.
So also when hip hop came for me, it's the same. Sometimes I was like, okay, I'm the first, but no, then another tape came, and I'm like, oh wow, this movement exists already.
Correct.
So the combination is the key. How you
Yeah.
combine things, how you
Yes.
interpret it, how is your
Yeah.
energy to the things, right?
Like,
So
you
this is
flip.
I think we think, I don't know, we think so much the same, and this is, I believe, also the future of our culture when we develop to the next step. We
Correct.
cannot stay in the same war of who did what and
Correct.
when. We have to write, okay, you did this
Correct.
time, and the same move became this. Exactly what you say is my mentality too. It's
Right.
incredible that we stuck still in this territorial
Yes. Box.
survival game.
Yeah. Oh, it's a
That
box. It's a
yeah,
box that
yeah,
we've created. And I'm gonna. And another truth is this: some people have created the box out of their own necessity for financial
it's
needs.
survival. Yeah,
So it's survival, right?
yeah,
So my thing is, we need to create a new paradigm, a new era where we accept the collective history of everybody, not down anybody's history because it's different than yours.
Yeah.
Accept everyone's history and make it just about the dance, not
Yeah.
about, oh, I'm joining this team or I'm joining that team. I'm
Yes.
joining this ideology. I'm joining that ideology. No, man, that's the old way, and that's what's kept us in the dark in a lot of ways, man. It's
Super.
kept us in the dark. In order to get up and actually get to the next level, I believe, is a collective understanding
Yeah.
of who did what. Okay, strutting came from here. Okay, botting came from here. Okay,
Yes.
bopping came from here. Waving
Exactly.
was innovated here,
Yeah.
but also leave that mystery of saying, hey, look, this is our modern interpretations of very, very ancient dance forms. Because when you start talking influences, because I believe we have influences in our DNA. I
Yeah.
believe,
Yeah.
I mean, I've read articles, and I don't know if you've read articles
Yeah.
where memories are stored in our DNA. So that
Yeah.
means that your father can pass on a memory, which can be an instinct for you. You can
Yeah.
do things instinctually based on your ancestors' memories.
Yeah.
So why can't it be the same for dance? Why can't these movements be in our DNA? Meaning that if you have a colony completely isolated from the rest of the world, no television, no,
Yeah.
they'll eventually start waving. They'll eventually start waving.
Yeah.
They're gonna hear a drum beat and they'll be like, "Let me move like the water."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll
Or they're gonna watch a snake and then start to move
they
like a
watch a
snake.
snake. They watch a snake. They eat one of those funny mushrooms. Start watching snakes, and boom! Before you know it, they're turning into a taco. You know what I'm saying? Come
Exactly.
on, come on.
This is well, and then you look at yourself in the mirror, and then you look like Papa Taco or
Yeah, bro.
so.
Like I learned this. I'm like, this cobra taught me before it bit me in the face, right? But you know what I mean?
Wow, this is so yeah. But this that's it actually. This is it. This is the. I think this is the key that we have to open this door. But I don't know where to start, to be honest, because now as a community and because we have the internet,
Yeah,
we can collect and organize ourselves, and
right.
not doing only by our own, right, but organized by ourselves. I think you need mature people to do it, right? It's about
Yeah.
maturity. It's not
You need
when
visionaries. You
yes,
need mature people that interpret the movement, not just the movement, but the movement behind the movement.
yes,
That and that's the hard part is a lot of people are really good dancers, but they don't understand the movement behind the movement
this is
and
nice.
what it represented to a community to have its own art form.
Yeah,
A community that was oppressed, all these things that were going on
yeah.
when the inception of these art forms began. So there's a movement behind the movement that we got to get back to. And that
So
movement is community,
yes,
community,
and
community. And a lot of people, when they think I say community, I mean just the dance community. No, I mean go to your community centers, teach, start a program. I taught for free for 6 years in Miami. 6 years I ran my program where kids, where a lot of them didn't have a lot of money, could come and learn for free.
yeah,
And what did that do? That began creating a whole new generation of dancers. And they created other generations. They became community leaders within the dance world now.
wow,
So it begins with you just giving back. Like it is each one teach one. I know
yeah,
you probably heard that a million times,
yeah.
but we have to pass it on and give away the jewels in order to remanifest it in the next generation. Because as you know, people connect with people from their own generation.
Yeah.
People connect with people from their own generation. Some generations do get rebellious and they might not listen to older generations, but they'll listen to their generation. For instance, I had a student named Popcorn many years ago. A lot of kids already were thinking that what we were doing was a grown-up man dance.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, that's a grown-up man dance. We're
yeah,
doing, we're doing that, right?
yeah,
And it wasn't until they saw one of their own like peers, one of kid their own age, that's killing it.
This
Then
is the
all of a
key.
sudden they're like, now I want to do it.
Yeah, it's the one. If one just starts, because I have the same, yeah, it's the same here. If one starts to be good and
Mm-hmm.
practice a little bit more,
Yeah.
then they're gonna like, oh wait, when he
Yeah.
can do it, I can do it too.
Correct.
And this
Correct.
is the key. This is the
Correct.
key.
It could
It's
be
the
just
one.
the attention that person is getting. It could be
Yeah,
just the attention
yeah,
that they're like, oh no way, hold on. I need to get into this because look all the attention that person's getting. Well, all it takes is one from their generation to get good, and it's a landslide.
yes.
It's a landslide.
Then they start.
And
Exactly.
then they start. And
Then
then they
it
start.
starts.
Yeah.
So cool. So cool.
Yes,
So
sir.
so what is your because I see waving is your specialty. You love
One
waving,
of
right?
definitely,
Of
definitely.
course, you do locking, you do
Yeah.
popping, you do all these elements, right? But
Yes.
but waving is your element. How
Yeah.
comes that is it your element? What was the where comes the love from?
It's maybe as growing up in Miami and surrounded by beaches. Maybe it could be part of my character. I was drawn to it because I just kind of like go with the flow with a lot of things, and I move like water
Yeah.
in my life as is. But I, for some reason, I took to it when I was younger, and I used to call myself Aquanaut, which is an astronaut of the water, an explorer,
Yeah.
underwater
Yeah, yeah,
explorer.
Aquanaut. Yes.
When I started learning how to adapt a little bit of boogaloo, right, and I
Yeah.
started dancing more, some of the b-boys started calling me, "Hey man, you're Aqua Boogaloo or Aqua Boogie," and the name stuck with me. And so that was the end of the '90s, when all that
Nice.
worked. So by the time the 2000s was around, my name had been established. I had already gone and competed, and waving became something that like I have to give credit to one individual. I have to credit one individual. Domino, rest in peace.
Domino.
Domino, rest in peace.
Wow.
Domino came right to Florida in the end of the '90s, early 2000s because of the prom. And me and Domino got in a battle on South Beach.
Mm.
And I don't think I even made it past prelims that year, but somehow he saw me waving and he was like, "You think you know how to wave? I'm going to show you how to wave." So he back in those days, they would talk to you while they would battle. Like they would say things like to get inside your head, right? And he started animating or waving his in such an animated way, talking the whole time like, "Oh, you thought you knew how to wave? How about this? Can you do this? Can you do that?"
Sorry, AquaBoogie. I'm gonna stop it right now because it's gonna finish, and I will
Yes.
start a new live, and then you're
Okay.
gonna finish the story.
All
Okay.
right. So
Okay.
Aqua Boogie versus Domino. Got it. All
Yes, exactly. Okay, cool.
right.
So what's up, everybody? We're gonna have we already have 1 hour of AquaBoogie interview with AquaBoogie, and now it's come the story how he battled against Domino. Domino, he already passed away. Rest in peace. And yeah, it's gonna be a nice story. Hola. Yes, it's gonna be a nice story. Yes, Domino was amazing, super amazing. Germany here. Yes, AquaBoogie. Oh, wait. Nikki, what's up?
We are back.
Back again.
We are back. We'll give a
Nice.
second for people to log on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an epic battle. This must have been like 2000, the year 2000. So we're starting at a very pinnacle time where people were really original in that time because there wasn't that many influences.
Yes.
So they had to dig deep for the originality. So
Yes.
so here comes Domino, right?
Yeah.
He saw something in me. He called me out. He's in my face, isolating, doing all these crazy waves, and I was like, man, I started coming and I tutted. I like to tut a lot still, and I still tut,
Yeah.
but I started tutting against him, and I held my own. But in the art form of waves at that time, I have to say that he took it. He took it hands down.
Yeah.
So I was like, I really want to jump into this art form to get my revenge. It's like like a kung fu movie, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the hero gets beat up in the first episode, and then he goes and starts training. That's pretty much me, and me in the beginning of that episode. And finally, I got good enough where I could battle him again. So it wasn't until 2 years later that who could roast the most. Yeah,
Oh.
who could roast?
Oh shit. This was also which it was Bionic Man against Didi
That was the
also.
first one,
The
correct?
first one.
That was the first one,
Whoa.
first popping battle, and then the second,
Yes.
which was who could roast the most six. It was me versus Domino, and
Is there a
it,
tape out? Is there a tape or something?
yes, there is in Bebe from Ground Zero Crew.
Yes.
More than likely has access to those tapes,
Uh-huh.
but it originally came out on VHS. So
Yes,
you know
I
what I mean.
know. I know.
It was a while, and then on DVD, you know, like a DVD
Yeah.
series, but not. But it that was my second go at it, and we battled probably a few more times in between. But that was one of my first like battle nemesis.
Yeah.
It was me and Domino, man, and we became
Okay.
good friends, man.
So 10
It was
rounds, right?
crazy.
It's 10 rounds. It was 10 rounds.
It was, I believe, 7 rounds, but
7 rounds.
it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. You had to really know your craft to
Yes.
entertain that crowd for 7 rounds each side.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of people felt like I won. A lot of people felt like he won. You know, I look at it as an objective, but that it was a development for me to go through this with Domino, right? And I found the love of waving heavily in those days. I really found the love of waving, and I dived into the style
Yeah.
as much as
Yeah.
I could. And it's one of the things that the audience enjoyed the most when I would be on the road. When I was
Yeah.
out under the spotlight waving, they loved the waves, man. The
Yeah.
waves was always a crowd pleaser. I never found a crowd that didn't appreciate that art form for some reason.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So I think um so how many, and I don't want to see movement, so right? But how many waves do you learn, or did you, like from left to right? I don't mean the full body wave.
Sure.
I just mean like from microwave till
Sure. Styles.
vibrating wave,
Wait.
so how many types do you have? Did you ever count them?
I teach around 25 styles. I teach
25 waving styles.
styles. I teach,
Yeah.
which I feel should be the styles that most people should experience in order to start developing. They're like a lot of those styles came
Yeah.
before me,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes what I did is this is one of the ways I developed my style.
Yeah.
The West Coast had a certain approach to a very aggressive approach. Even No Bone Tyrone in his interview
Mm-hmm.
on the Art of Popping, he would talk about how they would attack certain waves that are very aggressive, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Domino, right, and the Boston Cats, like
Yes. Shallow.
very
Yes.
detailed, very detailed waves,
Mm-hmm.
very microwaves,
Yeah.
rock waves, you know, like, and they had their own approach. So what I did is I learned from them, and then I learned from the
Yeah.
West Coast, and I bridged all them together
Yeah.
to create who I am now. So I don't discriminate. Any style of wave, I
Yeah.
love. I
Yeah,
love
I don't.
any,
Yeah,
any way that you can make your body move like water. I love it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I love it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there are 20, 25 concepts, or
That I
is it technique, or is it how you call it?
The way I
Yeah,
explain it is each style is like a filter. It's a filter. It's a way of filtering the same moves. Okay, so
yeah,
your body only has so many joints. It only
yeah,
has so many ways,
yeah,
right? These are like filters that you apply, and to
yeah.
make it look different and
Yes,
a different approaches. But there's like universal laws of waving. You know what I mean? And that those laws stay constant within
yeah,
every. Yeah,
yeah. It makes sense. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Cool. So I don't know if people want to ask something, they can ask something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm open for any questions
Yeah, if
about
there are any
anything.
questions, you can question anything.
Of
But
course, of
I
course.
think from my side, from your career and your craft and what everything, I think everything is very very good balanced. What you
Thank you.
said, and
Thank
that
you.
we go also to the university part, right? Okay, who are some of your favorite waivers?
Oh man. Okay, so off rip, I gotta mention Taco. I have
Yeah,
to mention Taco. Poppin' Taco was kind of like a god to us young cats coming up. You know, where not only was he one of the first Latinos that we saw like television along with Shabadoo, and we connected on a cultural, like, hey, someone that looks like us up there, you know.
yeah,
But we saw him move in a way that we're just like blown away. Like
yeah.
Taco, Daryl Stokes,
Jokes.
No Bone Tyrone,
Yeah,
Boardman, uh,
Boardman.
the Groovatrons.
Yeah,
Got a shout out Ace Rock as well. Um, of course, Domino was a huge influence. There was another guy that was legendary in New York, man. I've only seen little tiny little glimpses, man, and I challenged the world to find footage of this guy.
yeah.
But Louis New Wave from New York City passed away many years ago, but the
Uh-huh.
dude was supposedly not only from what I've seen, but legendary in the style
Yeah,
of wave. Legendary. And unfortunately, some people got into art form and left. Some people passed away, unfortunately.
yeah,
But there were so many really dope waivers, man, that
yeah,
I can mention. There's a lot of new cats that are coming up. I
yeah.
gotta give a shout out, respect to which Boogie Frantic, you know what
Boogie
I'm saying?
Frantic.
And we had an awesome battle a couple years ago. I don't know if you guys
Nice.
caught the Boogie Frantic and AquaBoogie battle. If you haven't, check it out. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
I have to see it. I don't know. I didn't see. I
yeah,
have to watch it.
yeah, it was pretty
Nice.
dope. Yeah,
Um, Wait, what is there? Thank you for
Or-
answering. So many dope waivers mentioned. Yes.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I think if there's nothing coming, what's up, Funk Formers? Yeah, Funk Formers is actually the team I'm in
Nice.
with the poppers here in Germany. It's like a
Much
small
respect.
community. Yeah,
Much
and
respect.
we try
Much
to
respect.
represent the culture, right?
That's
And
amazing. I'm glad you guys are
spread the
doing this
world.
too. I'm
Nicky
glad you
Pop.
guys are doing this, man. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it helps connect everybody, and I love reconnecting with different parts of the world,
yeah,
and people like yourself
yeah,
that have a following, and also you guys are connected to the culture, which is I think the culture is something that could breathe life to not us just as a community of
yes,
dancers, but
yes,
the world at large. They do need us. They need us
yes,
now probably more than
yes,
ever
yes,
because we're entertainers. We're a distraction for them. We've always
yeah,
been a distraction for the modern for other people. We entertain and we uplift with our art forms. So
yeah,
that's why it's so much more important for us to do these type of things, connect as a culture, build as a culture,
yeah,
because they need us now more than ever. Honestly.
yeah, yeah.
Honestly.
It's Now is the time. Yeah, they need us now so much. And I
Absolutely.
believe also, I believe like, look, we are more than 7 billion people over here in this small ball, right?
Right.
So 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 our scene, our community is so small. We
It
need to
is.
spread it, that it's,
It is.
for me, actually a goal, my vision, right? The goal is to, that in 2500 or in 3000, they still gonna say, look, they can't go back in time because of movement and what this generation did for this dance, because I believe that we can do this.
Correct.
We don't have to wait for others to do it.
We
We
don't need an
Yeah,
institution. We don't need a school.
exactly, we do
We can
it.
have our own certifications. What we
Yeah.
do need is community and unity. That's what we do need.
Yes, yes,
And how
yes,
can we unite? That's always been my question, because you always talk people that actually say, "Yeah, let's unite," but when it comes down to it, they don't want to unite. They have their own
yes,
agendas, and
yes,
the agenda has to be the culture. If the
yeah,
agenda is not the culture and how it could save lives,
yeah,
then we're falling far from the mark. So the
exactly,
agenda has to be to uplift the culture that saves lives. And that's
yeah,
how you got to look at it, because it saved my life. It saved a lot of people's lives. If it weren't
yes,
for this culture, I wouldn't be here. If it weren't for the dance, I wouldn't be here. It wasn't religion. It wasn't anything
yeah,
but this passion that kept me out of trouble. This thing that kept me pushing away from bad influences. It was this culture.
yeah, yeah. This is so true. This is so true. Man,
Yeah,
your, how you say, in German we have a speech, your words in God's ear, right? I don't know if you say this also
we
in
don't.
English,
We don't.
because it's it's so true what you say. It saves so much life. This dance, this culture, this community, that,
Absolutely. Like, you have to understand, like, this culture came from a poor community. Always a lot of oppression originated what we do. What does that mean? Is that this is something that we can put all our energies into, that's not only gonna pay us back, look after us, keep us healthy, keep your mind developing,
yeah,
keep you young. Okay,
yeah,
not only are you doing things to better your body, you're bettering
yeah,
your mind, and
yeah,
you're bettering your soul. Because now,
yes,
if you're passing it on to the young generation, you're getting them to fall in love with it. What have they got? They got now a passion. They
yeah,
got something to
yeah,
put their mind into.
yeah,
They got something to build towards, right? And that's what we need to get into. Like, I encourage anybody that's listening, go whenever they reopen society and we're able to get out there again,
yeah,
go to the local community centers and don't ask for donations, don't ask for nothing. Go and teach for free.
yeah.
Just say, hey,
one
can
hour,
I start a
just
poppy?
1 hour. Yeah, yeah. One hour a
Just
week.
1 hour a week, man.
Yeah,
1 hour a week. Out of those kids, you'll find one or two gems that say, look, I really want to get good at this.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it might not be all of them. Don't even expect all of them.
yeah,
Okay. But you got, out of that, you'll find gems, and you'll be able to find somebody to pass it along to. That
yeah.
one individual will make his whole neighborhood get into it.
It's
One individual,
interesting. It's
one individual.
interesting that you say this. It's so interesting. Um, do you, because now you're, so, how old are you right now?
I'm 45.
45.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't tell no
So,
one.
yeah.
You got
I know.
don't say it.
It's okay. So when you see some young cats
Yeah.
dancing, popping in our, like they dance now 10 years
Mm.
or 5 years, 10 years, you know, and you realize like nothing big change, but you see similarities to
Yeah.
your career,
Sure.
and then you watch them and you're like, okay, this guy is like in this stage of mind, right?
Sure.
Do you have this often? Do you see this
All
often?
the time, all the
Yeah,
time. And that's why it's given me a lot of patience. It's given me a lot of patience to deal with the younger generation, because sometimes they're so engulfed into what they know that their minds are very kind of, I guess, in a tight box, in a real tight box. And you
Yeah.
got to leave it in there. You got to leave it in the box for a while because the mind is not ready to be removed out of the box. Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I do, and I always encourage every generation, is to learn their music, like learn about their music. You don't have to like it. You don't have to be into all their music, but know about it.
Yeah.
Like I respect all the music they listen to nowadays.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about people in the popping culture, the young guys. I'm talking about people, the young people, period. I
Yeah.
know about their music. I know about their artists, about
Yeah.
the music I like to listen to.
Yeah.
I might not like it, but I know about it. I also know about their moves. I know about all the little moves, you know. I know
Yes.
about
Yes. Yeah.
all their moves because my challenge to my students are bring me any move that you guys got and I'll learn. Just as you try to learn what I do. That's it.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, learn the whoa,
Nice.
learn the Billy bounce, learn this. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Let's go. And I'll usually learn it real quick. So just to show you, look, I can do it now. I don't have to like it, but I know about it and I respect it. And when they actually can do it really well, I give them props. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, now
Yeah.
you're moving to now you're becoming a dancer. The problem is when we get it into this superiority level where we've done this for a while, we
Yeah.
look down on everything under us. Okay, it can't be
This
that
is
way.
the biggest problem.
That
This is the
creates
biggest
separation
problem.
between the generations. You guys are creating a generation. You don't have to like it. You don't
Yeah.
have to like what they do on TikTok. You
Yeah.
don't have to like what all these new little dances, you know, that they create. You don't have to like any of it, but be in the know and also give them the respect.
Yeah.
Give them the respect as a young adult. Like like say, hey, even if I don't like it, I'll be like, yo, you could get it in actually. You're in the beat, you're in a pocket of your own, right? So
Of course.
I'm gonna give you
Of
your
course.
respect. I'm gonna dab you up, I'm gonna give you your respect. Now, when we get into this whole separating, like, nah, I don't like to dance to new music, you're
Yeah.
already creating a wall between, and that
Yeah.
we should my job as an entertainer and also as an educator is I look through new music to find things that I like.
Yeah.
I look through new music.
Me too. I do
Okay,
this too. Same.
sometimes you got to
Same.
go through a lot of music and be like, man, and
Yeah.
finally find one or two tracks and artists that you're like, okay, I could
Okay.
do
Yeah.
something to
Same.
this.
Same. Yeah. But it's
But
okay.
it's our
Yeah.
duty.
That's the thing.
Our duty. We have to stay in contact, or else the disconnect happens. And when the disconnect happens, you stop affecting the community. And when you
Yeah.
don't affect the community, the culture's not doing its job.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Nice words.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, this is very nice. Nice, Aqua. Nice. Whenever you're in Germany, just let me
Of
know.
course, I would love
Yeah.
to come back to Germany. I would love to
Yeah.
come. We're
You
definitely
were in Germany? You traveled to Germany?
we toured through Germany. The Break Show did, yes, in
Oh, wow.
2003, and we went through 8 countries, and Germany was one of them. And it was an amazing experience. Amazing.
Wow.
Experience. They showed us a lot of love everywhere we went. They showed us a lot of love. We were introducing the culture to them in that era, and they many of these people had never seen hip hop in their face like that. So
Yeah.
it was an experience for not only us in the show, but for the world too.
Perfect. Sounds dope.
Yeah, I love to plug also the fact that I do have tutorials that I sell. I'm actually, most of my tutorials are half off because of the quarantine. And I have the Wave Dictionary series, which
Yeah.
breaks down 20 something styles of waves. And I break down techniques of how to break, you know, the trap, shoulder, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Break the muscles down, how to break the arm wave into as many components as
Yeah.
you can.
So, oh, wow. Nice. So you
Yeah,
break. So
it
it's
has
it's
technical.
very technical.
It's
Technical.
all technical and explains also how to be within the beat. It teaches you the count of the wave, how
Yeah.
to affect the count, the count of the wave affects the illusion of the wave. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So it kind of it gives you what I consider basic info, but it might not be so basic for people that don't know. So
Yeah.
I figured everyone should know that this is a dance form that even though it's a move, there
Yeah.
is a count to the move. There are
Yeah.
counts. There are
Yeah.
counts like, you know, a regular wave is about 4 count. A
Yeah.
slow motion
Uh,
wave is about
yeah.
6 count.
Yeah. I,
You
I
know?
say also the magic starts in the timing.
Yes,
You know, it's how you
absolutely
time something, how you prepare something. So,
correct.
so
How
our
you
dance is
display it.
very. So, do you think also that our dance is very theatrical, very showish, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah, it's not
absolutely.
only a battle,
But
right? It's not only
there has
battle.
to there has to be a change
Yeah,
in the way we present the dance. Okay, yeah, and this is what I mean. At
yeah,
some point, classical dances just became the backdrop. So
yeah,
they're telling a story in the 1800s, but we're doing a modern dance form in the background.
yeah,
We might be telling the stories in the 50s, but we're doing a modern dance form in the background, right? That's other dance forms have done that. We in hip hop are still just showing people popping a lock. And we have shows that are like, hey, this is popping. Hey, this is locking. Hey, this is breaking, right? What we need to do is put these dance forms in any backdrop. And we're telling a story from the 50s. Boom. If we're telling a story of the future, boom. If
yeah,
we're telling a story from the fantasy from the Middle Ages, boom.
yeah,
Why do we have to put the dance form in an era? Let's take it out of its era
yeah.
and put it everywhere.
Yes,
Everywhere.
because then it becomes an art form.
A
Because an
language.
art form you can put it everywhere, and it's not only in one box. So
Correct.
yeah, it's the same
Correct.
topic. I work here
Right.
all
I
of the
mean,
time.
we had Jam on the Groove, we had the Break Show, we had the Breaking Convention. We've
Yeah,
had these shows that show us what hip hop is. That shows, look, here's breaking,
yeah,
here's locking,
yeah,
here's animating. But
yeah.
why can't we just insert that in any
So good.
background? That's our future. Until we get on that level, we're still just going to be showing the world this is hip hop. You know, like here
Yeah,
comes breakers.
yeah,
No, let's displace hip hop in places that you wouldn't think to find hip hop. That's my
yeah,
philosophy.
yeah.
That's my
Because
philosophy.
if people want to learn, they're gonna dig, they're gonna ask, they're
Yeah.
gonna find out. How
Yes.
we did this in the 90s, we went somewhere in stores, small hip hop stores, they
Yes.
sell videos or something, you
Correct.
know. So, and
Correct.
now with the internet, it's so easy, it's super easy. So,
Yeah.
so we
How,
can
how many
transform.
times are we going to talk about the same topics of this is where breaking came from? This is where hip, you know,
Yeah,
like if you know the story's been told many times, both on a stage and in the movies.
yes,
So let's put hip hop where it belongs with the other master dance forms. And
it's the
part of
next.
it is growing up.
And
We
in Germany and in France, you know, because of theater, it's already existing. It's already existing like this. I made since 2006, 7. I make theater pieces,
yeah.
and they took the dance. But the problem is, you have a choreographer from the modern, and he directs you. So, but I had the luck. I said it to another interview. I was super lucky because it was a nice we had
Mix.
nice conversation, and it was peace.
Yes.
There was like, yeah, I want to do this, and no, I
Good.
don't do that. So I was really lucky with all these theater pieces I made. There was peace inside, and we find compromises
Yes.
to mix really the art form. So
Well, when in this the theater career and everywhere that we're in, you're gonna have to fight
yeah,
to get authenticity. I
yeah,
had to fight to get authenticity.
yeah,
Like I had problems in the beginning of my career where the producer's like, okay, I want you in the breaking pieces too. I'm like, I'm not a breaker. I was like, Aqua, I want you to come and jump on and do the head spin. I'm like, I don't do head spins, and I'm not going to learn it for the show. No,
yeah,
you got b-boys that specialize in that, that you need to have them do it. unless you want everything watered down, not looking right,
Yeah.
you're gonna you let us do what we do, let them do what they do. And there was a couple of them that could
Yeah.
do locking, popping, and breaking, but
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna attempt to start learning an art form just to be in a show. That wasn't
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that
Me too.
you
Me
literally
too.
had to be like,
Same.
and the breakers too. The breakers had to be like, listen, I don't want, I'm not a popper. I'm gonna look foolish in the background doing the Fresno,
Yeah.
and I'm just leaving the breaking pieces, please. And you literally had to fight for you to have your moment. So unfortunately, until we get to the top and we're the producers, that's always gonna happen. And
Yeah.
that's why we need our own companies, we need our own academies, so
Yeah.
we can control it. Because we know that now you don't want to put the next generation through that. You don't want to have them go
Exactly.
through the same thing. So
Exactly. Because then
that's
it's
why.
like, because then they're gonna blame us, like, hey, you didn't do something, right? So they, oh, for sure,
Absolutely,
it's our work now to do this. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. It's
Cool.
absolutely. Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, we
It,
have.
it,
I think we have 1.5 hours. Yeah,
it was a
it's
good
dope.
interview, Kyle. Thank you.
A
Thank
super dope interview. Thank you so
you.
much, Aqua. Ah, wait, there is a song from Parliament that is also called Aqua Boogie, right?
Yes. Check this out. The
Yeah.
original Aqua Boogie was a 1978 song called Aqua Boogie. All right. It was an album from Parliament called the Motor Booty Affair, right? The first name on the first song is called Mr. Wiggles, right?
No,
Yeah, the first name of the first
I
song is
have to
Mr.
check
Wiggles.
this.
The last one is Aqua Boogie.
This is funky.
Yeah,
This is so dope.
yeah. And I don't think that's where Wiggles got his name. I think Sugar Pop may have given him his name or something, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the name Mr. Wiggles appeared on the 1978 album of Motor Booty Affair. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Motor Booty Affair.
yeah.
Parliament.
Which
Okay.
I use that song as one of my judge showcases too. When I do judge,
Perfect. Perfect.
it's Aqua Boogie,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, it fits. It was perfect. Okay, my brother. Thank you so
Thank you, bro.
much
Thank you for
for
having me.
having you.
Appreciate you.
And
Thank you.
yeah. So guys, check his tutorials. Contact him for a private class or something like
Real
this.
Aqua Boogie. At
Yeah, the real
Real
Aqua Boogie.
Yeah.
Check everything, right?
Yep.
Thank you. There are your articles are out there in the web.
No, as a matter of fact, they're not. But I've been thinking about reposting them and starting a new blog. So I'm thinking of
Yeah,
starting a new
okay.
blog. Now I got
Yeah.
a little bit more time, so
Yes.
might as well,
Yeah, okay.
do something.
So
I
send me stuff that I can also
definitely will.
like promote it, in my story or
Definitely
something.
will.
I can say, look at this, something new coming out. So I think
Definitely.
this is our work in the community,
Yeah,
right?
bro. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, man. It
Take
was
good
great
care,
talking to
stay healthy, stay
you
safe,
too,
and
bro. You too.
see
Bye,
ya.
everyone.
Yeah. Bye
Peace,
bye.
everyone.
Peace. So everybody, thank you so much, Aqua Boogie again. And yeah, I'm out. Good night. And yeah, I think next week I have some other interviews, but they're not clear now. But we're gonna check and we're gonna see. And all you guys, stay healthy, stay safe. Love you. Peace. Vollpets, bis dann. Ozone, take good care. See you. Bye bye.